So doing a suiting up for Fili the dwarf from The Hobbit. A few people had been interested in how I did certain parts of it, and I thought the easiest way was to show you as opposed to trying to describe it on Tumblr Asks and stuff. So we have the bulk padding is probably the most important bit. You have the body section, you have your legs, and you have your shoulders, which I did separately, and you have your upper arms. This probably isn't the best way to do it, sadly. I did it and didn't realise quite how complicated and tight it was, so the things that I did on some parts of this, I am going to recommend that you don't do because it wasn't the best way of doing it. Starting off with the bodysuit bit, because as you can see I am not the largest of folks. So this is made up of what looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It has a front body section, a tummy bit to give you a bit of a dwarf tummy, a butt bit to give you a bit of a butt, and then sections to, like, if you're female, to like hike you out at the sides. Don't make it on stretchy material because that's dumb and it makes it really hard to get in and out of, because when you're sewing it up it'll contract and it won't be the same size as you. So if you are going to do that, build it on a bigger section. I would recommend just doing the sections on Velcro and sorting them that way as opposed to building it into a top. Because we live in Scotland and I was too hot in this, in our weather, and like our idea of hot is like 15 degrees Celsius. So, so yeah, it was warm for us. So I would hate to think how hot someone in like America would have been. Though you guys are probably needing heat right now, so haha, you're snowed in joke. You've got the upper leg sections, which I did as sort of wraps. We've got this section here is padded, and I've got it secured with large strips of Velcro. Done up, it looks like, well, a loop. Same sort of format for the upper arms. I used a sort of satiny lining material just so that clothing sat easier over it on top and it didn't catch on anything. Another dumb thing that I did that I wouldn't recommend is doing separate shoulders, because I'd done all of that, put on the under clothes for it, and realised that my shoulders were too small. So when you're doing this bit, like, build out some shoulder bit, because otherwise you look really chunky there but not chunky enough there. Ta-da! So that is your under padding, which is what everybody's kind of been interested in, so feel free to ignore kind of for the next minute and a half while I go over the stuff on top before putting it all on. So you've got the under tunic. I've used a sort of modified design of the cosplay because, as I was saying, I was just so warm in it that the idea of them making his heavy overcoat, like, I knew I was just going to be far too warm, so I went for a design where I still incorporated the fur, which you see a lot in his character, but it was lighter and easier to move around in. I like to think of it as Fili's summer wardrobe. So he still has his hood, which I used the blonde fur on. This is the under tunic. So you've got lots of facial hair, apparently stuck to it. You've got the sleeves, which I did 3/4 size. I would probably say do them full size, like full length sleeves. I've only done them to about there. I would say do them full length. It looks a wee bit better in photos if your underarm is showing there. But yeah, and it's all riveted down the front with leather bits. I've just used a thin strip of pleather, so obviously I need to cover one side of it and make sure that's not seen, but it looks okay from a distance. Then, keeping with like the base layer, I then have trousers. These are Primark's giant men trousers. I got them just in the biggest size I could, because I figured if they're loose and baggy over like on my belt padding and stuff, it'll look a little bit better than having it right fitted in. Also, why make trousers if you can buy them for £3? There's not much point to that. Don't make stuff that you can buy really cheaply. It seems kind of dumb. So, ta-da! Then is the over tunic section. So probably what would have been the under tunic if he had his big coat on. But this is the bit that I used as the main sort of section, so I did more detailing on it. I did take liberties and added a leather section to the bottom, which is studded and has some sewing detail. I won't show you that side because it's messy. This has been well worn, so there's bits kind of everywhere. This is also messy, but it does have sort of pattern on the way up, which was all sewn in. This has sleeves, which are kind of short, but on the dwarf, after all the padding, they just sit just above the bracers, so it looks quite good for that length. So that's the over bit. I quite like the leather section because it gives a lot of weight to the bottom of it, so it sits quite nice. Going on top of that is the belt, with all, like, it looks like it's just made of razor blades. Again, because it's been quite worn, there's some of the blue showing through of the funky foam, but I made it so that I can unpick them and sort of, again, everything is made with these little push tacks to kind of seal everything off, which look nice and dwarfy, but also mean you can take bits off to respray them and stuff. This is missing a buckle, which is on the to make on sort of Mark II feeling. Next are the bracers. So we've got these. These are made with pleather on funky foam, double funky foam on, then I've got some nice thick pleather which they've gone on to. Lots of nice furry bits, because Fili's good for his blonde fur. The fur I didn't buy as fur, I bought it off of eBay, and it was originally some sort of snood thing, but I got it for barely anything and it was the right colour, so even after doing the bits that I have, I still have extra left over if I want to make other sections. Again, more push tacks. And finally, the boots. The boots were the bits that I was kind of worried about. Up close, they look tacky as all hell. They're just covered in glue and bits and pieces, but from a distance, like underneath stuff, they look really good. And because I built them on old walking boots, old hiking boots, they have that really sort of satisfying clumpy noise that dwarves have, so nobody's kind of noticed yet. Also, because they're built over old walking boots that are mine and fitted me, they're also hella comfy to wear for long periods of time. They were then just, as you can see, the boot's been bulked up quite a bit from where it was. I'm a size 5 in Shoe UK, so as you can see, it's I've kind of doubled the width and then just sort of bulked it out overall. Used a lot of padding and stuff at the back. You don't see any of this nasty bit when I put it on because I pin the outside of the trousers to the inside of the boot, so it all kind of sits quite nice. Cosplay is all about the bits that you don't see that look ugly. So I'm going to get the under padding on, so you don't need to see any of the nasty bits of me that shouldn't go seen, and show you that kind of from there. So, okie cookie, so this is under padding on the legs, under padding on the body, shoulder. Haven't put the arms on yet. My boots on. So yeah, this is just with a sports bra underneath, not with a full chest binder or anything, because I figured use my own padding that I already had. No butt padding, but I've got the section around there which I've got the belt sort of balanced on to kind of at the widest point, and obviously a belt to hold it. So next bit is the upper arms, which is going to be funny because can I get this on my own? Possibly. So they're just kind of there. And never underestimate the use of your chin. And we've got them there. Next on is this, the Pride and Joy, which is the hood, which actually goes on over the top of my full Fili wig. The wig and the facial hair and the makeup and stuff I'll put on in a separate video after this, just for filming this quite late at night, and I can't be bothered, quite frankly, because uni starts back tomorrow, so I should at least pretend that I'm awake and ready to learn. Hood up, check myself in the mirror. As you can see, tucking this up and into the padding, just so that it's all hidden away and the padding's hidden away. So as you can see, much bulkier now, nice and chunkified, and my hair's a mess. Overcoat. And we've got this bit on. Oh, there's my phone. An exciting email from someone. I would recommend putting your bracers on last, because bracers make doing things hard. Or at least mine do anyway. Sorry, just having a wiggle around to make sure that I've got this done properly. She's probably looking at you guys in the camera. That's too far in, isn't it? That's what happens when you don't wear cosplay for 6 months and then have to try and put it on again. Yeah, for some reason there's like no cons in Scotland at winter. And finally, with the bracers. And my teeny wee head sticking out at the top of this massive cosplay. I made it like they are velcroed, but I'm too lazy, so I just squoosh my arms up in. So yeah, and as you can see here, that's why I'm saying make it full length, because I was lazy and did it last minute right before a con and rushed it, as we tend to do. So yeah, pulling it on over, and I'm not looking too bad. So yeah, I'll show you it again later when I've got the full wig, full makeup and stuff on. But for now, this was how to get into Fili from The Hobbit. I am absolutely boiling. It's quite warm in this flat, but it's even warmer with all this on. I forgot how warm Fili was. So yeah, there we go. Can you even see my thumbs? I'm giving you a thumbs up. So, makeup tutorial and wig tutorial and facial hair tutorial to follow. Hope that made any sense to anybody. Enjoy your cosplays.